When you open your eyes each morning, you're given something extraordinary, a chance to shape your mind before the world does. Most people wake up and immediately hand their piece to their phone, to social media, to noise. But the Stoic begins the day differently. The Stoic knows, the way you start your morning determines the strength of your mind for the entire day. The secret isn't hidden in complicated rituals or expensive routines. It's in the simple, deliberate act of reclaiming your thoughts before they control you. In the quiet of the morning, your mind is like soft clay. It will take the shape of whatever you impress upon it first. If you fill it with stress, comparison, and distraction, you shape weakness. But if you fill it with gratitude, clarity, and focus, you shape resilience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This reflection isn't poetry, it's practical psychology. It's a tool to rewire your brain away from anxiety, toward awareness. Before you touch your phone, before you think of tasks, take 1 minute. Sit upright, feel your breath, remind yourself, I cannot control everything today, but I can control how I respond. This single thought, practiced daily, begins to form mental armor, the inner fortress that keeps you calm no matter what the day brings. The Stoic morning is built on 3 pillars: awareness, gratitude, and intention. Awareness, noticing your first thoughts without judgment. When you wake up, your mind often jumps to worries, unfinished goals, or expectations. The Stoic sees those thoughts and simply says, "These are not me, they are visitors." By observing rather than reacting, you weaken their control. Gratitude, choosing to focus on what is, rather than what is missing. Before stepping out of bed, name one thing you're thankful for. Not just something external, but something internal, the chance to learn, to improve, to act with virtue today. Gratitude reframes your mind to operate from abundance, not lack. Intention, defining your day before the world defines it for you. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? Calm or chaotic, patient or reactive? Write one short line. For example, today, I will practice patience when things don't go as planned. This anchors your focus. You are no longer reacting, you are choosing. These small acts might seem trivial, but repetition turns them into mental muscle. And that is the Stoic secret. Strength is built in silence, through discipline repeated until it becomes instinct. Your mind will resist. It will tell you it's easier to scroll, to rush, to avoid. But every time you choose mindfulness over noise, you rewire a neural pathway, you make calm your default state. This is how Stoicism becomes more than philosophy. It becomes your operating system. As you continue this practice each morning, you'll notice subtle shifts. You'll start observing life rather than being consumed by it. You'll realize that peace was never something to find, it was something to train. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, anxious, or easily distracted, this morning secret is your way back to balance. It doesn't require belief, only practice. So, tomorrow morning, before the sun rises, reclaim your first thought. Guard it like a sacred gate. Because that first thought builds the fortress that protects all the rest. And if this message speaks to you, if you want more calm, discipline, and strength, make this part of your daily routine. Subscribe to the Inner Fortress, and let each morning begin with a reminder of who you are becoming: unshakable, composed, free. 1. When the morning begins, your mind is blank like a new page. This is the time to write your story before distractions start speaking for you. A Stoic treats the early hour as sacred, where silence teaches more than noise. You begin by sitting still, noticing how your thoughts rise and fall. Some will whisper about yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's worries. Ignore them. Your focus is on the present breath. Feel it fill your lungs, then leave. This control is small but powerful. You are proving that you command your attention. Each morning becomes training. You build inner discipline the same way you train a muscle, through deliberate repetition. The goal is not perfection but awareness. Every time your mind drifts and you bring it back, you grow stronger. Over weeks, this simple act rewires your brain toward clarity and calm. This is how Stoicism becomes action, not theory. Control begins here, in the stillness of dawn. After awareness comes gratitude. The Stoics knew gratitude isn't soft, it's strength. When you start your day thankful for what you already have, you stop chasing what you can't control. Think of Marcus Aurelius reminding himself each morning of the gift of being alive. You can do the same. Before your feet touch the floor, acknowledge 3 simple things: breath, health, and the opportunity to improve. Gratitude redirects the mind from scarcity to abundance. It erases envy and sharpens focus. When you are thankful, you become unbothered by what others have or what might go wrong. Gratitude becomes armor. Write 1 sentence of appreciation in your journal. Repeat it aloud. Feel its weight. Each repetition programs your subconscious to seek peace instead of problems. This is not wishful thinking, it's mental conditioning. The Stoic who begins each morning with gratitude faces the day grounded, centered, and impossible to shake. 2. Once gratitude settles your emotions, intention gives direction. Without intention, even gratitude can drift. The Stoic morning demands purpose. Ask yourself, what principle will guide me today? It could be patience, courage, humility, or focus. Choose one. This single choice structures your day. It turns reaction into deliberate action. Write it down. Today, I will practice calm under pressure. Keep it visible. Throughout the day, when stress appears, return to this line. The act of remembering your intention is an exercise in self-control. It separates instinct from wisdom. Intention transforms your morning mindset from passive existence to conscious living. This clarity builds confidence because you know what you stand for before chaos begins. Each morning you repeat this process, you are wiring your brain toward consistency and discipline, the traits that define true Stoic mastery. 3. After you have grounded your awareness in gratitude, your next act of discipline is to move the body with purpose. The Stoics understood that the mind is not a floating entity, it is rooted in the body. A sluggish body leads to a foggy mind. A strong, awake body sharpens your judgment. When you rise, stretch slowly. Feel your muscles awaken. Step outside if possible and let the morning air touch your skin. This is nature's reminder that you belong to something vast and enduring. You are not separate from the world you're trying to master. Movement in the morning is not about fitness, it's about presence. A short walk or mindful breathing connects you to your own energy before the day claims it. You begin to notice that clarity grows with motion. Anxiety dissolves with breath. The Stoic body becomes a disciplined instrument for the disciplined mind. When your body obeys command, the mind learns to follow. You start your day grounded, alert, and anchored in self-control. This harmony between body and reason becomes your first victory of the day, an unshakable foundation for everything that follows. 4. When the body is awake, the mind must now be directed, and journaling is the Stoic's finest weapon for this. The page is where the mind learns to listen. Write not to impress but to understand. Begin with a single question. What is within my control today? List only what depends on your effort, not on fortune or the approval of others. Then ask, What would the wise person do with this day? Your answers don't need to be perfect, they need to be honest. This act of writing orders the chaos of your thoughts. It converts noise into clarity. Marcus Aurelius did this not for others, but for himself, to anchor his reason against the tide of emotion. You do the same. Journaling each morning is like sharpening a sword before battle. You prepare your thoughts so they cut through confusion. Over time, your writing reveals patterns, what triggers stress, what brings peace, what virtues you neglect. Awareness leads to correction, correction leads to mastery. The Stoic journal becomes your mirror, unforgiving yet transformative. When the writing is done, protect a few final minutes of pure silence. This is the part of the morning most people skip, yet it's where transformation solidifies. Sit quietly and simply observe. Listen not to music or screens, but to the subtle rhythm of existence, the faint hum of life around you. This silence is not empty, it is alive with understanding. The Stoics saw stillness as the highest form of strength because it reveals what truly matters. In silence, you realize how little control you need to feel at peace. Thoughts will arise, and you will let them go. This is how detachment begins, not by rejecting the world, but by refusing to be its prisoner. Each time you sit in silence, your nervous system resets. Your breath steadies. Your focus sharpens. When noise eventually comes, it cannot shake you, because you have already met yourself in stillness. This is where the rewiring completes. Your mornings become not a rush to exist, but a deliberate act of mastery. Here, the inner fortress stands firm. 5. Now that your mind has settled into stillness, it's time to feed it with wisdom, because what you allow into your thoughts each morning shapes the tone of your entire day. A Stoic understands that the mind must be nourished like the body. If you feed it noise, it becomes restless, but if you feed it truth, it becomes unshakable. Before checking your phone or reading the news, choose a short Stoic passage or reflective quote. Read it slowly, aloud if possible. Let its rhythm sink into your consciousness. You are not reading for entertainment, you are programming your perception. A single sentence from Seneca, reminding you that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, can reshape how you handle every irritation ahead. The Stoic morning study is brief but deliberate. Ask yourself, what does this mean for me, right now, today? Reflect on how you can live that wisdom through action, not words. This habit transforms knowledge into character. When repeated daily, it conditions your brain to seek reason before reaction, calm before conflict, perspective before panic. Each morning lesson becomes a seed of strength. You are not filling your mind, you are refining it soon. Wisdom becomes instinct, and instinct becomes peace. 6. Emotional discipline is the foundation of Stoic strength. It is not about suppressing feelings, but about mastering the space between emotion and action. Every morning offers you a chance to rehearse that mastery before the world tests it. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. Sit quietly for a few moments and imagine the day ahead unfolding, not as you wish, but as it might truly happen. Picture delays, disagreements, disappointments. See yourself meeting them with composure instead of frustration. This simple visualization rewires the brain for steadiness. When difficulty appears, you recognize it, you have already faced it in thought. The shock disappears, replaced by readiness. Each imagined trial becomes emotional training, each response becomes rehearsal for virtue. Marcus Aurelius began his mornings this way, reminding himself that he would meet people driven by ignorance or fear, and that he must not be like them. You can do the same. Emotional discipline means you choose response over reaction, wisdom over impulse. The morning is the ideal time to strengthen this muscle, when the mind is quiet and undistracted. Think of it as mental armor, polished before battle. When practiced daily, premeditatio malorum transforms anxiety into calm confidence. You no longer fear what might go wrong, you prepare for it with grace. And when challenges arrive, you greet them not with anger, but with awareness, knowing that every obstacle is simply another lesson in the art of control. 7. Once emotional discipline takes root, the next step is to reframe every obstacle as opportunity. This shift in perception is at the heart of Stoic resilience. Life will not always unfold in your favor, plans will fail, people will disappoint, and circumstances will test your limits. But the Stoic knows that the event itself is neutral, it is your interpretation that gives it power. When you train your mind to see resistance as training, the world stops being against you and starts working for you. Marcus Aurelius captured this truth perfectly: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is not philosophy, it's mental engineering. When something blocks your path, pause. Ask yourself, what skill is this moment asking me to strengthen? Patience, adaptability, forgiveness. The answer transforms irritation into insight. Each hardship becomes a classroom. Failure becomes feedback. Pain becomes a teacher. You no longer waste energy wishing things were easier. You become grateful that they are hard, because difficulty is the forge where character is tempered. Reframing challenges this way changes the brain's stress response. It reduces fear, lowers reactivity, and builds inner stability. This is true rewiring. Over time, obstacles lose their power to derail you. You begin to meet adversity not with resistance but with readiness. Each problem becomes another stone in the foundation of your inner fortress, making it stronger, deeper, and unshakably yours. Detachment is not coldness, it is clarity. It is the ability to move through life without being enslaved by outcomes you cannot command. The Stoics taught that peace begins the moment you divide the world into two parts: what depends on you and what does not. Everything within your reason, your effort, your choices belongs to you. Everything else, praise, results, opinions, timing, belongs to fate. Each morning, remind yourself of this truth. Whisper it like a mantra: I control my actions, not their rewards. This single realization frees enormous energy. You stop chasing approval and start pursuing excellence. You stop fearing failure and start focusing on integrity. When results come, you are calm. When they don't, you remain calm, because your worth no longer swings on outcomes. This detachment does not make you passive, it makes you powerful. You still care deeply, but your peace no longer depends on how things unfold. Imagine walking through the day anchored in this mindset. Traffic cannot anger you, criticism cannot shake you, success cannot intoxicate you. You move through everything with the same quiet confidence. This is the discipline of serenity, the Stoic's ultimate mastery. Every time you practice letting go, you tighten control over your inner world. That is true freedom. Detachment transforms your reactions from emotional turbulence into deliberate choice. When you live this way, nothing external can touch your peace. You become the calm eye within every storm, the living definition of the inner fortress. You can continue with a Stoic mindset through your day. 8. Sustaining a Stoic mindset through the day requires more than morning preparation, it demands awareness in motion. Once you step into the noise of the world, your practice truly begins. Each encounter becomes an examination of your discipline. The secret is to return to yourself often. Between tasks, pause for a breath. Ask silently, Am I acting from reason or reaction? This brief moment of reflection restores control before emotion seizes it. Carry your Stoic principles like invisible armor: patience in traffic, composure in conversation, gratitude in small frustrations. You don't need hours of meditation, you need a few conscious seconds repeated consistently. That is how awareness deepens. When anger stirs, remember it is a signal, not a command. When anxiety rises, treat it as an observer, not a victim. The Stoic lives with eyes open, fully engaged, yet inwardly still. Let daily life become your training ground. Every irritation, delay, or criticism is a weight that strengthens calm. You'll start to notice how little can truly disturb you when your inner fortress stands firm. With time, discipline evolves into instinct. You begin to meet life's pace with steady rhythm, not resistance. By nightfall, you will not feel drained but clear, because energy spent wisely renews itself. Each mindful pause reinforces your rewired mind, proving that Stoicism is not a morning ritual but a continuous way of living, peaceful, present, and unshakably strong. As the sun begins to set, the Stoics' work shifts from action to reflection. Evening is not the end of your discipline, it is the test of how well you practiced it. Sit quietly, perhaps with a dim light or by an open window, and review your day as if you were both participant and observer. Ask yourself, did I live by my principles today? Where did I falter? Where did I stand firm? There is no need for guilt or pride, only honesty. The purpose is to refine, not to judge. Marcus Aurelius did this nightly, examining his conduct to understand where emotion overtook reason and where virtue prevailed. This reflection strengthens the loop between awareness and improvement. Each lesson becomes preparation for tomorrow's dawn. Write down one small victory and one place for growth. Gratitude closes the circle. You end the day with humility, not haste. The Stoic mind never sleeps restless, for it knows it has done its best. Evening reflection is the gentle tightening of your inner fortress, the quiet assurance that each day is a step closer to mastery. 9. In this calm state, practice releasing the day. Whatever did not go as planned, let it dissolve. Whatever you wish had been different, accept it as it was meant to be. The Stoic knows that clinging to the past is a silent form of suffering. The moment has already done its work, now, let it rest. Acceptance is not surrender, it's understanding. By releasing control over what has passed, you create space for peace. Take a few deep breaths and imagine the weight of unfinished worries leaving your body. This act of mental detachment prepares your mind for renewal. You no longer carry the noise of the day into your night. The Stoic's peace is practical, it's earned through letting go again and again. As Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." Freedom begins when you refuse to let yesterday's emotions invade tomorrow's strength. As you release, feel gratitude, not because everything was perfect, but because every imperfection was a teacher. Now, direct your thoughts toward rest, not as escape but as continuation of discipline. Sleep for the Stoic is sacred, it repairs the body and resets the mind. Prepare for it deliberately, turn off distractions, darken the room, and allow silence to return. Remind yourself that even rest can be an act of virtue when done with intention. Before closing your eyes, whisper a short reflection: I did my best today. I will begin again tomorrow. This affirmation quiets the mind and trains self-compassion. The Stoic does not demand perfection, he demands persistence. You do not need to fix everything in one day, you only need to return each morning with purpose. Rest is the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. In sleep, your thoughts reorder themselves, and the lessons of the day settle deeper into your subconscious. When you wake, you rise not as the same person, but as a slightly wiser one. 10. As days turn into weeks, the power of these small, consistent Stoic practices begins to compound. The rewiring of your mind happens quietly, without ceremony, without fanfare. You start noticing subtle differences. Moments that once triggered anger now draw a smile. Setbacks that used to crush you now feel like chances to learn. This is not luck, it's the reward of repetition. Each reflection, each pause, each breath in awareness has been training your neural pathways toward calm and clarity. The Stoic understands that change is not about grand transformation but steady evolution. You no longer chase peace, you embody it. Your mornings guide your days, your evenings refine your understanding. You are building resilience not by avoiding pain, but by walking through it with wisdom. What once felt chaotic now feels like rhythm. What once felt heavy now feels like purpose. This is the invisible victory of the rewired mind. And so, you arrive at a deeper understanding of Stoicism, not as a philosophy of cold restraint, but as a path of strength, clarity, and freedom. Every morning is a chance to begin again, and every night is a chance to let go. Between these two moments lies the art of living well. You have learned to observe rather than react, to prepare rather than fear, to accept rather than resist. Your emotions still exist, but they no longer own you. You have learned that power lies not in controlling the world, but in mastering your response to it. This is the essence of the inner fortress, a mind calm amid storms, a spirit steady in change, a soul at peace in impermanence. Carry these practices with you. Live them, refine them, share them. Let each day be proof that wisdom is not ancient, it is alive in every breath you take. And when morning comes again, return to the silence, rebuild your strength, and rise renewed, stronger, and freer. Finally, there comes a moment in every day when the noise of the world fades, and only one question remains: who are you becoming? You've walked through storms and silence, through the weight of emotion and the discipline of calm. You've learned that peace isn't given, it's built. Brick by brick, thought by thought, choice by choice. Each morning, you've returned to the gate of your own mind and chosen to stand guard again. The Stoics called it strength of soul. You call it becoming unshakable. And every breath, every pause, every moment of awareness is another layer in your fortress, invisible to the world, but felt in every step you take. Remember, the world does not bend to your will, it bends to your perception. What stands in your way becomes your way. What challenges you refines you. What you endure becomes your power. You are no longer reacting, you are rising. So as this message fades, don't let it end here. Let it begin. Subscribe to the Inner Fortress, and join thousands of minds choosing awareness over distraction, peace over noise, purpose over chaos. Each morning, we rise together, disciplined, grounded, and awake. Your fortress is waiting, your morning is calling. Rewire your mind, reclaim your strength. Rise, and begin again.